Obviously it's not.
Yep. Waiting for the red. There we go. Now, let's see if we can't make this, get it all put together for them.
Hello everyone, it's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. I am working on this.
I love to sit and watch her put stuff together like this. I normally do this, but I like to watch her.
So we are excited.
Let's see if we can.
Yeah, it ain't exactly the way you want it.
Yeah, I'm a little OCD about this.
A little? All right. So how's everybody been? It's kind of like springtime or midsummer. And then it turned.
Well, we went from 85 to 86 degrees. Now, I don't know what the heat index was. I just know that was a temperature. I got in my truck the other day and the temperature said 88. And then we wake up this morning and it's 49.
He had to put on a long sleeve.
I've been out there. I just come in the house. I'm having a frustrating evening.
I told him he had to breathe.
She keeps telling me, just breathe, just breathe. I'm trying to put my Cub Farmall planter system together. Here I am thinking I've got everything I need because I've looked at this thing and bought the books on it and all this kind of stuff for the Cub Farmall 172 planter. And I go to start putting everything together and I realize I have a 174 planter, not a 172. And there's actually two parts of it now that's missing. And I'm panicking because I got to plant corn this week. So I'm like, I'm fixing to have to use ingenuity to create parts
that
I don't have. And I'm just like,
I told him a while ago, I said, okay, think like your daddy. His daddy would have fixed something.
Oh, Daddy would have built something.
He would have made something work.
He had cutting torches and welders. And I got welders and stuff, but I've got this eye that I can't see out of hardly, and I can't weld. And I'm like, it's just irritating me that I don't have the parts for this planter that I need to make it work like I need it to work.
And it's not major parts, so
no, it's not major.
That's a big blessing. It's not major. It's just a couple of things that attach a couple of things. So I think he can do it. I told him to go to sleep, and in the morning he'll wake up at 2 o'clock, and he'll have the answers. Okay. Yeah, Miss Lippy's watching. Okay. We have 5 words tonight. That if the first person that Miss Lippy and Miss Allison see in the chat say these 5 words, those 5 people will get seeds. We will announce the winners later on in the program when Miss Lippy sends me an email. And I know 1 or 2 of them might have already passed by.
I think some of them done passed by. I know I don't even know nothing about what she's doing, and I know 2 or 3 of them done went by after she told me. So
yeah. So y'all keep commenting and going. Because there's some words out there, and they're all gardening words, by the way. They're all to deal with gardening.
Monkey Food Garden says, Danny, what do you need? Someone out there might have something in y'all's community. Well, on the 174 planter, there is a rod that goes from the arm that lifts up and down. In other words, without this rod on there, if you lift the cultivator system up and down on it, the planter just stays on the ground. It won't lift it up in the air because there's a rod that's missing off of the, I'm going to call it the side of the tractor that you get on. And the other part is I have a Richmond planter that goes on top of it, seed hopper, and underneath the bottom of it on the base, there's no way to hook the metal seed tube to the bottom of it. There's evidently a piece that bolts onto that thing underneath there somewhere because it's a square hole going into a round hole with a slot on the side of it, and my tube can't drop down anything there. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it is. I have no clue. I've looked on it online. I can't find it, so I don't know what I'm looking for.
To your eye?
Huh?
You bumped something? Somebody asked about your eye. He's been working this.
I've been working all day. Well, not all day, but it's all afternoon in my barn, up under a tractor, and trash has fell in my eyes. It's probably bloodshot from just doing that.
Mississippi Soldier wants to know how to know if my orange tree is dead. It lost all its leaves after December 25th, but it's still green, but no blooms.
Well, you're gonna have to just be patient with it and wait, like we're doing. And just see if leaves come out. Make sure it's in a warm place, plenty of moisture. Ours, some of them are just now starting to put some little tiny leaves on them, and we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait it out and let it leaf out to see what actually died.
Somebody asked, how can they till without a tiller? What can they do?
If you don't have
that ground up.
If you don't have a tiller, you may have to go back to what's called the double dig method with a shovel. You have to lay a tarpaulin on the ground, dig one layer of dirt out, put it over on the tarpaulin, and then dig a second layer out and move it over to a tarpaulin on the other side, and take the one on the left-hand side you just did with the grass in it and put it in the bottom of the hole, and then put the dirt back on top of it. It's a lot of work, but it's called a double dig method, and that's it. Without a tiller, that's about the best you can do.
What brand is our high tunnel? Feathered Friends is thinking about getting one.
Ours is Grower Solutions.
Okay. And Coastal Redwood said hers was coming.
Now, when you go through Grower Solutions to get a high tunnel, be aware that there's actually 3 different designs of high tunnels. There's the greenhouse one, it's just a hoop. And then you've got a high tunnel like us that's a raised up hoop. And then you've got what's called a Gothic style, which comes up to a point in the top for if you live where there's a heavy snow loads and stuff like that.
Somebody wants to know, why are strawberry plants and asparagus good together?
They're just companion plants. There's lots of different companion plants. One repels insects from the other one, and it's possible, I haven't actually looked it up, but it's highly possible that the asparagus and the smell of it repels things from strawberries, like the bugs that eat up strawberries and stuff.
What is the best soil for growing plants for my garden in the greenhouse?
We use Schultz potting soil in ours. I mean, we use half and half. We let our brush piles rot down and take the dirt from it, the organic matter and all, and put in the bottom of our pots. And then we put the Schultz potting soil with the 9-month fertilizer in it, time release, and put that on top of it and take the shovel and dig it all together. And we usually end up with tons of earthworms and all that kind of stuff in it. And it seems to work out really, really good. In about 2 years, the whole tub's just nothing but worm castings.
Swafford said they understand that Grower Solution will be selling seeds. I'm not sure. We haven't asked them about that. At one time they sold plants and fruit trees.
Fruit trees, yeah.
And then they have a company next door to them they kind of divided up into 2 groups, and the company next door sells the fruit trees. I don't know about seeds, so I haven't heard that one yet.
Now, someone said Grower Solution has a commercial on it, and we're mentioning it.
Oh, wow. I guess we need to check out their commercials. I don't do Facebook, so I don't see a lot of the commercials they do and stuff, and I know a lot of them are on Facebook. I seldom get on Facebook. Danny has the potatoes come up at the new property.
Oh, yeah, our potatoes is up.
The first 2 rows.
The first 2 rows up probably a foot high, and the 3rd row we planted is up about 2 inches high.
Yeah, and I had to cut the first 2 rows off about the top 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah.
After that little freezing spell, but now they're all back the same
I've actually
size.
done plowed.
Yeah, you do.
I have done plowed 2 rows of potatoes already. I've already thrown dirt up to them.
I hadn't got the video. I'm behind in videos. We're way behind in stuff over there right now.
Yeah, we're running behind big time. I've been at the tax office all day today, and
well, that's good so far because we ain't done nothing.
Well, that's because he ain't figured nothing. I've just told him, I said, so just let me know when you get it ready how much I'm gonna owe Zelensky so that I'll be able to come in and.
You ain't supposed to be saying some names.
Well, I know it, but it just slipped out.
I know. Okay. Nick in North Idaho said he bought a green stalk last year. Thank you for the videos. What compost do you recommend? Green stalks you don't want them compacted.
Right.
So if you have soil in them that you used last year, take that soil out and put it in a bucket or something and put some fresh soil in with it.
Yeah.
I usually use
fresh potting soil.
Yeah, I usually use Schultz. But if you have a potting soil that you like or something, and if you're going to add some compost to them, I would recommend highly, highly composted. If you've been composting your own stuff, let it go for, 3 or 4 months or more?
At least, yeah.
And maybe even longer before adding it to a green stalk. And the other is worm castings.
Yeah, worm castings
worm
are
castings
fantastic. They're fantastic. How hard is it to put up a greenhouse? Well, we have several videos showing putting up greenhouses. It's not really hard.
Any more fruit trees planned at the homestead? Not here.
Not here, but at the new one at Pecan Grove, yes, we have put in a whole orchard over there.
Yes, lots and lots we put in. Well, we had some here that we needed to get out of pots, and we were transferring them over there, and then we bought a few. We bought 3 or 4 more, 5.
I bought some apples, and I bought plums and different things.
And we moved the peaches.
Yeah, we moved our peaches. Peaches are blooming. Actually, we have small peaches. I was looking today. We already have small peaches.
We have a loquat.
Yes. Persimmons and
a plum, I think.
And a plum and crab apples. We have all kinds of stuff over there.
All right. What am I looking for?
Oh, let's see. It's going by so fast.
Hand me my phone and let me see if Miss Lippy's. I had it plugged up because it was about dead.
Let me get
she
this
may have
over
done
here.
Got winter's eye. I don't know.
We'll have to see.
All right, you answer questions.
How are our walking onions doing? Ms. Wanda has walking onions, so they're in her high tunnel. I don't hardly ever go in her high tunnel, so that will actually be something she would have to tell you about.
What did they ask?
The Egyptian walking onions.
I think I took all those out. The only onions I have now are green onions.
Okay.
In there. I took the
Okay,
Egyptian
that's the
walking
answer.
onions.
I have no clue about anything else.
All right, so we have winners. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the winners so y'all can send me an email at deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com. All right, Elizabeth Green. The word was potatoes. Elizabeth was the first person that in the chat before we even came on that said potatoes. So Elizabeth Green, send me an email. Leslie Hare, Hare, was the first person that said dirt. Everybody else, I keep seeing soil, but Leslie, you said hair. Leslie Hare said dirt. I get it right.
You get it right in a minute.
Okay, Nadia, is that Marcial? Marcial? I don't know.
Marcial, yeah.
Said green beans first. Darlene Wright, Write, said English peas first. And Sharon Craig said Danny corn first. So you guys send me an email and at Deep South and let me know your addresses and I will send some seeds. The seeds, some of them came from So Right Seeds. They sent us some seeds. And then we had Jim and Lori sent flower seeds, cantaloupe seeds, okra seeds, beet seeds. They sent a whole variety of seeds. And most all of these came from an American seed company. So there'll be a bunch of seeds going out if you guys send me an email. If you do not send me an email before I get ready to ship out by tomorrow evening, I will divide all of them between the ladies and men that do send. I think they're all ladies.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm sure some questions went by, guys. We just have to repost the questions.
Yeah.
Because we were busy doing that right there. If you want to.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see them.
Everybody's saying congratulations now.
Oh.
DeepSouthHomestead@gmail.com. Nadia said that's the first time she's won anything in her life. I'm going to add a little something Deep South to it, so y'all will get more than just those seeds. I'll add a Deep South special.
Do we have any problem with the plum curculio on peach trees? Not really. The biggest problem I'm finding with fruit trees and most people is they try to mow the grass right up around them. Quit mowing the grass around your fruit trees. Let it grow up around them about 3 to 4 feet diameter around the outside of that tree. Let the grass grow. Don't mow it. I think you'll find out your trees will do a whole lot better.
Janet, not a real farm, is really thrilled. It's above freezing and the sun's been out.
We are about 25 degrees above freezing right now.
But we've been being 85 degrees above.
Yeah.
No, we're way above
Do you
freezing.
trust the Ruhr Seed Company? I don't know who that is.
Yes, you can pork and ground beef. We've
Yes.
done both. We've done deer. What else?
Turkey,
we did chicken,
rabbit.
and turkey and rabbit.
Do we have a moringa tree on the homestead? We do now. We have.
We planted
three. We planted 3 of them.
Yeah, we planted 3 this week. That's the other thing we did.
Do we have ground cover under the raised beds in our high tunnels? No, we do not have them under the raised beds in our high tunnels.
Well, the center ones we do. In my high tunnel.
In your high tunnel, the center ones we do, the outside ones, no.
The outsides we didn't.
We do not.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Let's see.
Let's see here.
Where are we? I lost track. Do you have to heal determinate potatoes? They said determined potatoes.
Determinate potatoes do not have to be healed up. Indeterminates do have to be healed up.
All right. How do you control ants in raised beds? They've tried DE, but it's not very effective.
We've tried DE. It don't work. I'm going to be honest with you. I take a pipe and I drive a hole right in the middle of the ant bed down about 2.5 feet deep, and I pour 1 cup of gasoline in it, and I cover the hole back up real quick, and when the fumes come up through the ground, it kills the whole bed, and I have not had it damage any of my plants yet. So, is it the most environmentally friendly thing to do? No.
It's probably
not. Fire ants are not environmentally friendly either.
Nothing deals with. We have had people tell us, you do this, you do that. Okay, we've heard it all. Don't tell me how to get rid of fire ants.
Yeah,
if you don't live in the South, you do not know.
Yeah, don't tell me about cinnamon. Don't tell me about borax. Don't tell me about all this junk we've tried.
Grits and
cornmeal. You feed them grits and cornmeal in the South, they come knocking on your door and want to know why you ain't kept putting more out there. You know what I mean?
They love them. They love it. And so moving one hill to the other only just creates new breed.
That just
new hybrid.
It just multiplies them. Yeah. We've done it all. We stuck a water hose in the ground, thought we could wash them out of the ground. An hour later, the water was still running in the hole and it never come to the surface.
I think people in CHINA got watered that day because we were watering them. Yeah,
subscriber to Patreon channel. I love the content. Well, thank you, Not One More Inch. I appreciate that. We have a lot of good content over there.
Somebody asked if we get damage from the storm. We didn't get a storm.
We didn't even get no rain.
No,
now, we got about 40-mile-an-hour winds, but that's
we got a sprinkle twice, I think, but no rain.
No rain.
Florida Homestead says, I use gas and then a match. That is true.
It's more fun, they said.
Yeah, that
Have we had any problem with rats eating your Irish or sweet potatoes? One year we had a problem with some mice eating the sweet potatoes, but we eradicated that problem with poison. But other than that, we haven't had hardly any problems with, now deer love them. That's about it.
What's the best plum tomato you suggest?
Plum tomato, gosh. When it comes to cherry, we call them cherry tomatoes. When it comes to cherry tomatoes, the little sweet million, it's just hard to beat that thing. You can't.
The yellow pear tomatoes are really good.
Well, the yellow pear is another good one.
And then we had what we called a blueberry. If you like blue tomatoes, those things are amazing and they're prolific. If you leave one little piece in the ground, they coming back up.
You can't stop them once you get them. They just keep coming back.
We just haven't planted the blueberries in a couple of years, but those things are absolutely
Look, we already got somebody said sprinkle borax on after I said no, say that.
Yeah, don't tell us about that. We don't even want to hear it.
It won't work. I'm just going to tell you, it won't work.
Move to deep south and try to kill ants.
Use soapy water on fire ants. I'm not bathing them. Because here, it does no good. I'm
telling you, nothing works.
We have tried it all. Gasoline, I know works.
Leslie Harris says, thanks, Deep South. My dirt is ready for the seeds. Email sent. She's the one that said dirt. Everybody else kept saying soil.
Everybody kept saying soil.
I sent Lippy a message and I said, these city folks is all saying soil. Nobody's saying dirt.
How far from my muscadines do I need to plant my wine grapes so they won't cross-pollinate? Tamara, I don't know if you can plant them far enough. I'll be honest with you. The only way I've got mine to stop from cross-pollinating is I put them in my high tunnel. That's the only way I've been successful.
All right, this Michael Ming Says he's needing help finding Covington planter parts. Any suggestions?
Well, it depends on where you live. If you go online to Covington Planters and look for local Covington planter dealers, that's what I did for mine. And I found in a town about 35 miles from here, I found the parts for mine in Poplarville, Mississippi. Now, this has been a few years back, but I don't even know if that company's still in business or not. But that's what I did, and it worked for me.
Does Steiner's carry them?
Yes, Steiner's, Tractor Company, Birch Tractor Company. Yesterday's I don't know if Yesterday's Tractors handles them or not, but you can find it on eBay a lot of times. But Birch's and Steiner's are the two places I usually go if I'm looking for planter parts.
Oh, Florida Homestead. The fire ants actually float on the water and do a backstroke, I believe.
Oh, they do float on the water. Just watch it when the river or the creeks get up or ponds get out of the banks and stuff like that. They float around on top of the water in big wads out there. I've seen it too many times, and I'm sure the ones on the bottom were doing the backstroke for them. It was up in the air, but.
Twisted Pony says, I love sun sugar tomatoes, and fire ants are bionic.
They're from HELL. I believe they have Satan himself's DNA in them.
All right. God Michael Ming. It don't hurt.
Michael Ming says, live in Louisville, Mississippi. Thanks. Michael, I used to live right outside of Louisville in a little town called Noxapater. I went to Louisville all the time. As a matter of fact, I even went and applied to go to work there one time at Taylor's Equipment Company there outside of Louisville. Of course, they said I had too much education and they wouldn't hire me.
What's your opinion on milk goats?
Nubian milk goats are probably the best, but they're also the easiest to get to die on you. Let me put it that way. But they have the highest butterfat content. Then the Sainan is probably the next best one that I would say. I've had all of them. That's the only reason I can actually say that. How you say it, Sanin, or however you say it.
I don't know how you say that one, but we had we didn't milk ours that we had. Danny milked goats before.
Yeah, that was before Wanda and I got married. Yeah.
But the ones we had, we never milked them. We got too busy doing projects, and they were too much babies, and they wanted to be played with, and we don't have time to do babies.
Yeah.
Somebody says, can you plant corn close to a cedar tree?
Yeah, they ain't got nothing to do with corn. My corn's been, for years, has been right beside my cedar tree.
What are y'all paying for chicks? We not buying chicks.
I hadn't picked up chicks in a while, so I don't know what they cost.
Emeralds.
Last time we bought some, they were $3 and something a piece.
Almost $4
Almost
a piece.
$4 a piece.
That's been almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Emerald Water Life said they love their freeze dryer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Andro is like crack for ants.
Oh, yeah. They sell them on, I know that, I was friends with a man who helped invent some of the stuff to kill fire ants, and it didn't work.
Yeah. All right.
Nigerian dwarf goats have sweet milk. I don't know about the Nigerian dwarfs. I'm too tall to handle a dwarf anything, so I never did fool with the dwarf goats.
Okay.
Bought 9 turkeys yesterday to raise for meat. So excited. I pray for you.
We got 2 that should have been butchered a year ago.
Yeah, I pray for you because them things will die on you in a heartbeat. Just be careful with them.
Yeah, once they get going, they're pretty healthy.
They're fine once they get going.
But the first week, you got to baby them because they're a stupid bird, just saying.
They'll stand out in the rain and drown.
But now we've got 2 giant turkeys. Like I said, should have been butchered about a year ago, pretty close.
Yeah.
Danny keeps putting it off and ignoring me like he's doing now.
7-acre pond, 2 blackberry bushes. Was that blackberry or blueberry? I couldn't. It was going by so fast. Will 2 blackberry bushes be enough to get started this year, or will 3 be better? 3 would be better. But if you're gonna do blackberries, let me tell you something. The Freedom blackberry, if you ever plant them, you will have them forever, and they make a berry that's like 2 inches long and as big as a quarter.
Anybody that's ever visited Deep South and sees those berries go, oh my. And when you eat them, they taste so good.
Yeah.
They're well worth the price of paying
well worth
for it. Because you could get 2 or 3, and in 5 years you're going to have 50 or 100.
I remember
according to what you want to do, you could...
When Cuz Strickland from Mossy Oak hunting came here, he walked out there in our high tunnel and he saw those blackberries and he said, man, he said, this is like being on Planet of the Apes, you know?
I died out laughing. He thought it was like Planet of the Apes in there.
Container planting. What do you recommend? Plastic tubs will break down into the food. We use our mineral tubs that we get for our cattle. We have had no issues with them. They do fantastic.
Doris says you're on a roll. Arthur and Illustrator says, I have 2 Prime Art Freedom Blackberry bushes. I'm not sure if that's the same thing.
That's the same thing. Ours were Prime Art. They got a patent on them. You're not supposed to give them away. You're not supposed to sell them. You're not supposed to do any of this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But once you get them to your house, they belong to you. You do what you want with them.
Is there still time to plant sweet onions?
Now, I don't know if you're calling sweet onions bulbing onions. It's going to depend on what part of the country you live in. If you live in the central part of the United States or the northern part, you probably still have time, but you better make sure you get the intermediate or the short day ones. Long day. I'm sorry. Short days for the south, long days for the north. Miss
Lippy says, oh, those blackberries are so good. She kind of picked one when you weren't looking.
I had a feeling because I realized it was gone. I knew it had to be Lippy.
She was the extra on the place.
She was the extra on the place.
Oh.
What fertilizer do you suggest for a hydroponic system? I want to avoid needless odors. Well, Scott, I don't know for hydroponics. I know Hoss Tools and different ones, they sell a granular 20-20-20 that can be mixed with water and put in their systems to put in the drip irrigations and stuff like that. You might want to check with them. They sell micro boost and stuff, but you have to be careful. Like you said, some of that stuff, like fish emulsion and stuff like that, it does have a scent to
it. Most good fertilizer has a scent.
Yeah.
I don't know. You would probably have to check with the company that does hydroponics.
Yeah. Do deer eat blackberries? Do flies like honey? Yes, deer will eat every blackberry they come across down to the ground.
Teresa said, thank you. Let's see, what'd she say? The Lord has blessed me to find you guys. I have watched for a long time. Thank you for the education and updates on things around the world. Most of all, to get my faith back. Teresa.
You are more than welcome, Teresa.
All right, I missed a few. Do you have any tips for growing banana trees?
Don't chop them back. When the wintertime comes and they die back, just let them die back. Don't cut them down. A lot of people chop them off and all that kind of stuff. Do not do that. Most banana trees take about 18 months to make a banana. And if you'll leave them growing in the wintertime where they die back, in the spring, most usually they'll grow right back up through the center. But if you cut them off, it's got to start all over again. And you can't get 18 months out of 12. So you got to... And then keep them warm. In the wintertime, keep them wrapped up. Keep them warm.
The thornless raspberry, I don't know about a thornless raspberry. Now we have raspberries.
We have raspberries, but ours have got thorns on them.
How long does it take for a pineapple to develop after planting a top?
Well, it depends on how warm you keep it. The hotter you keep it, the faster it'll go. With us, we're at a point now where we're getting them every year, but just starting out, it could take 2 to 3 years if you don't. To
start with, it took us about 4 years because we were putting them in the house and taking them outside.
We wasn't keeping them hot enough.
Yeah, we were putting them on our porch and keeping them in a shaded area and all summer, and then we'd bring them back in the house in the winter and we'd put them back out on the porch.
Yeah.
And finally, when we put them out in the yard where the sun could get to them, we got a pineapple.
Do you put urine on your garden. I put urine on everything. I have found out it is the miracle fertilize. As long as you don't take no medications, and we don't take no medications, it is the miracle fertilizer we have come up with. It does. I'm talking about it grows some amazing stuff.
My daughter is getting roly-polies all around her vegetables. How do we get rid of them?
Oh man, roly-polies. We don't have a problem with roly-polies, so I don't.
I remember those as a kid.
I remember them as a kid being up under old boards and stuff like that.
Yeah, not in the garden, but under.
Yeah, they wasn't.
Under boards or brick or something like that. You could move a brick and you could find them. But I mean, we used to play with them. We would get them and roll them around.
Creek Bottom Farms. Danny, have you always lived in Mississippi? No. I've lived in Connecticut. I have lived in. I've lived in Mississippi most of my life. I've lived in Poplarville, Mississippi. I lived in Central Mississippi. I've lived in Wiggins, Mississippi. I've lived in Noxapater, Mississippi. I've lived in New Milford, Connecticut. Just different places.
I have trouble with worms in the peaches. If not them, then the squirrels.
Well, when it comes to peaches, we just cut around the worms. Or apples or anything like that, we just cut around them. We don't throw away, we don't spray. But if you keep a peach tree really, really healthy and you put lime around the base of that tree about mid-January, we just don't have a lot of problems with them.
Okay. They say chickens love roly-polies.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
But they will eat.
But they'll eat your garden too.
Asparagus and freezing temps. Do you have any?
Do you have to cut back before a freeze? No, not really, because asparagus, the bush is going to die back anyway once it gets to the fern or whatever you want to call it. It's going to die back when it gets cold anyway. So we just let ours die naturally, and then we just pull them off.
Mississippi girl said, "Where in Central Mississippi did you live?"
Noxapater.
How low of a temp can a blueberry bud tolerate?
We've had ours go down to freezing, and some of them still make it.
Yeah. Usually every year we get some type of late freeze or late frost or something, and we still have blueberries. So does every blueberry make it? Probably not, but we still get a harvest and a good harvest. Let's see. They must be talking among each other.
Allison said, roly-polies remove toxins from the soil. Do not remove them. Aha! See there? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we never had an issue with them, I don't think, eating anything. I don't remember. I just remember finding them in the grass. But here, I've not noticed any.
I hadn't noticed a lot of them here at all.
How did your canned citrus turn out? Danny ate some of the satsumas.
I ate some of the satsumas the other day. You gave me a can of them over for a snack at the property to take with me when I left and went over there.
I didn't eat any that day. I might have eaten one. I don't remember.
They tasted okay to me. I know if you want them really sweet, you'll have to put more sugar in them.
That's right. You said they weren't real sweet. They were more tart, and they're sweet when we were eating them fresh.
Yeah.
But canning them takes the sweetness out. Not because I didn't add a lot of sugar to them. I think I very minimal sugar.
What would be the negative to plants if you're urine and you take low doses of something other, some kind of medicine I've seen, of heart medicine? I don't actually know what the negative side effects would be. All I know is research says if you take medicines, I don't know if the plants would actually take that back up in their root systems and all. I don't know, or if it even has a negative effect, would kill the plants. I don't know, because I don't take any kind of medication to know what the side effects would be. I'm just being honest. I'm sure there might be something online somewhere that you might find out about it.
Do you start pumpkins and gourds inside really early?
No. We usually direct sow those.
Now you did.
I did my Cherokee tans last year. No, my Thelma Sanders, and they got too big before it got warm enough. What kind, let's see here, looking to restock my egg-laying chickens, do you have a favorite? Yes, we have the ISA Browns. To us, that has been the best all-around chicken for laying eggs we have ever come across.
Bubba Joe wants to know, where is France on the zoning system?
Lord, I don't know. I've never looked.
I guess you would have to Google it.
I guess you could Google what zone is France in. I mean, it probably tell you.
Growing zone.
What type of oranges will grow in zone 10?
Most all of them.
I think probably any of them would grow in zone 10 because it don't ever get cold hardly. How do you stop? Susie Q says, Danny, how do you stop grapevines from bleeding after trimming? If they're bleeding, you trimmed them the wrong time of the year. That's usually what I've experienced. Now, I do cut mine in the summertime. I cut off sucker sprouts and stuff like that, and they'll bleed for a day or two, and then the piece will just eventually shrivel up and die. But I don't worry about it, but I don't prune anything that really shouldn't be pruned.
Yeah, and somebody's asking, anything special I need for growing mulberries and elderberries? Y'all, we got mulberries that I should be harvesting.
Word.
That wind yesterday blew thousands of red ones off. The ground is covered, but there was some ripe ones, and I harvested some ripe ones, and we had some to eat last night and today. And in the morning, I got to get up and beat the birds because there's no telling how many mulberries will be ready.
Creek Bottom Farms. Danny, I need a sorghum press. Where can I find one? Look in any of the market bulletins from different states. That's how I found mine. Antique places. Another thing I learned, go to your local scrap metal yards. Because lots of times, my daddy was one of them. My daddy took a 2-horse cane mill and sold it for scrap iron. I like to had a fit when I found out about that. But people do it all the time, and they don't usually crush that stuff up. They set it out to the side and resell it.
What is your go-to sweet corn variety?
My go-to sweet corn variety is, Stowell Evergreen. It's an heirloom sweet corn.
I can remember green. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, it took me a moment. Stowell Evergreen. It's a white sweet corn. It is an heirloom. You can save your seeds because all these others are hybrids and super sweets and all that kind of stuff, and you can't save your seed from it. And I'm all about saving my seeds.
All right. Does ashes from the fireplace help apple or fruit trees?
Yes. I always put my fireplace ashes around my fruit trees. It does wonders with fruit trees.
How do you germinate comfrey seeds? There's two
different types of comfrey. You got block 4 and block 14 or 15.
14, I think.
14, I believe it is.
4
will come back from seeds.
I thought it was the other way around because we've got block 4.
I thought we had block 14. Okay, maybe I got it backwards. We're going to go with Miss Wanda on this one. She says block 4 comes back from the root. The seeds do not germinate. Block 14 will take the place over. You have to be careful.
I think that's what it is because ours doesn't just go crazy. It would, I guess, if I tried dividing it and moving it around. But we got it from old Alabama gardener several years ago, and he divided his up. And I just put mine in a couple of different places, and we just have it all the time. I don't ever break it up, so mine may be congested in one spot.
I don't know.
But ours is the 4.
Do I recommend Dolomite lime closer to citrus tree trunks or where are we at here? It moved. Okay, which kind of lime is best? Dolomite lime is probably one of the better ones. Be careful when you're using lime like for lawns and anything like that. It's a fast-acting lime, but it only lasts just for 6 to 8 months. It don't last very long. The Dolomite lime will last a whole lot longer.
All right, somebody's saying, what was the first green leafy plant that was growing in your high tunnel on the video today? It looks like something that grows wild in your yard.
In my yard, they said.
Oh, in your yard. It's probably the wild lettuce.
Wild lettuce.
Wild lettuce does grow wild in people's yards.
It's very medicinal. It's a painkiller.
Yeah, just check it out. Look up wild lettuce. Do you have, and just make sure you have wild lettuce now.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not wild lettuce.
Sometimes it's not.
But make sure that's what you have. I was really hesitant about wild lettuce because I knew we probably grew it on this place somewhere, but I did not 100% know what it looked like. And so I ordered seed and planted it from seed so I would know what I'm looking at when I see it on my place. That's what a lot of people make that mistake when they harvest in the wild. They don't know for sure.
I thought I was right.
What?
Block 14 is by the roots.
Are you sure? I thought
that's what they.
Well, he sold it to us for. I mean, not sold it. He gave it to us, and I could have swore he said block 4.
That's block 14. I thought it was block 14.
So I had it backwards.
You had it backwards.
Okay. Well.
Okay. I have a cub little boy that I would like to find attachments to. Where do you find those old attachments? Drop a Honey Farm, Birch's Tractor Company, Steiner Tractor Company, Yesterday's Tractors, and there's about a dozen other places that I just can't remember off the top of my head. But just understand it's going to cost you. I mean, they're expensive.
Shipping and everything.
The shipping is what gets you because it's all heavy and it's expensive.
How often do you fertilize corn and onions?
I fertilize my corn when I plant it. Of course, when I plant it. Then I do it when it's 8 inches high, and I do it again when it's about knee high. And after that, I don't usually touch it.
How do you save seed from sweet corn?
You just leave it on the stalk till it dries. It's just like other corn. You just leave it out there, and when it dries, it'll drop down just like any other corn, and you take it off and shell it out. What are the benefits of growing geraniums in a high tunnel?
They're
just pretty.
No, geraniums are used in a lot of herbal mixtures.
True.
And Rain Country, she sent me a geranium mixture probably 3 or 4 years ago. I had problems with my hands would just break and chap and peel open, and I couldn't get them to heal over. And I was talking to her, and she said, well, this geranium, I think it was geranium vanilla mixture or something. I didn't forget what it was. Anyway, I have a new bottle I got from her. But I used the first bottle, and I would put it on it, and within a week I noticed a difference, and my hands healed up. I've not had any issues with the splitting and chafing on my hands anymore. So geranium is an excellent mixture in her what you call them, potions. Yeah. I don't know what you call them, but Rain Country uses a geranium all the time.
Pamela says, you spoke of medicine and urine. What about vitamins? Pamela, most vitamins, they're called bedpan pellets. If you want to know the truth about it, all you got to do is talk to a nurse, and they'll tell you. Or go to one of these porta potty places where they clean out porta potties, and they'll tell you that most vitamins that people take never really do them any good. They go right through your system, and when they wash out these porta potties, they have huge mounds of vitamins just piled up at these places.
You're not getting much in your urine,
you're not getting much in your urine because the vitamins, basically, unless you're taking liquid ones, really don't do you any good at all.
My citrus tree leaves are light green. Is that bad? They come on kind of light green.
They come on light green. It might need a little bit more nitrogen a little bit later on. Camper Jack says, JP Tractor Salvage in Missouri has farm-all stuff. That's another one of the places I was thinking of. I just couldn't remember JP. They bought out a lot of the tractor companies that I was looking at earlier, maybe a year ago. They would always tell me when I'd contact them, they'd say, well, JP Tractor from Missouri just come by and picked up all my farm-all stuff. And so that is another good place.
Let's see. Which stole evergreens do you plant, the white or the yellow?
The white. We plant the white stole evergreen.
What breed of goats do you recommend for eating brush?
Kiko. Kiko goats are about the best brush eating, or just plain old, if you just want goats.
They're easy.
The Billy goats are really good,
goat.
but the Kiko goats are very parasitic resistant goats. and they get to be huge goats too, and them jokers can consume some
I think
weeds.
We bred
some of our goats to a Kiko.
Yeah. So we would have a healthier goat. Let's see where we're at. What is the best time to fertilize seedlings?
The best time to fertilize seedlings, and when I say fertilizing seedlings, I'm talking about using something like fish emulsion, is when they get to the 2 or 4 leaf stage. Use fish emulsion on them when they're real little. Other than that, I would wait until after they got about 6 to 8 inches tall and had 4 or more leaves on them before I used any other kind of fertilizer on them.
All right, Susie Q says her tomatoes came up about 2 weeks ago. They're getting leggy. Can I move them outside? Wouldn't you need to up pot?
I would up pot them if I could. I would take some like solo cups or something like that and put me some potting soil in them. Cut holes in the bottom of the solo cup, and I would take them and put them in a tray and put water in the bottom of it, about maybe a ½ an inch deep or so. Set the cups over in it and set them on a sunny shelf outside somewhere, and that should take care of them being leggy. How often do you fertilize onions? I fertilize my onions with ammonia or nitrate, whichever one you want to look at it, every week. After they get up and get going pretty good, I fertilize them every week until about 2 weeks before harvest time. I usually stopped.
Okay, what type of fertilizer does corn need when it starts to sprout? For corn.
Corn, when it starts to sprout, well, I fertilize my corn before I plant it, so when it sprouts, I don't worry about putting anything to it. I usually wait till it's about 8 inches tall, and then I side dress it with ammonia, and then I side dress it again with ammonia when it's about knee high. We got something at the gate.
I know. Give me a look.
Take my high beam flashlight and look at the gate and see what's up there. We have monitors, guys, that tells us, and cameras and all that kind of stuff. We can look and see what's where on the property, but this is the gate going off up here. And that means either a cat or a skunk or armadillo, a deer, somebody has crossed that barrier, and that monitoring system lets us know if something has trespassed onto our property. Ms. Wanda will usually look. Have I ever grown walking stick kale or tree collards? I tried growing tree collards here one time before. Someone sent some to us, and they started off pretty good. But the heat here just got so intense that they actually died back, and they really didn't do much. So, but at the time, I will admit, I did not have a high tunnel at the time. Now, they might have done really good in a high tunnel. Oh, how will the weather be this year, and can I plant my grapes by my kiwis? Grapes and kiwis are probably not going to hurt each other to plant by them. The weather this year, it depends on where you live. I can tell you right now, it ain't going to be good. It don't matter where you live. But if you're in the 33rd to 45th parallel, you're going to have challenges. Let me put it that way. You're going to have a lot of challenges with the weather.
We're going to be moving the camera down low, just so we can see what comes through low.
Down low?
Down low. Yeah. It's not picking anything up high, so it's got to be low. All right, what is...
Ammonia like... Jennifer says, ammonia like the kitchen cleaner? No.
No.
Fertilized ammonia, not liquid ammonia. A liquid ammonia, now let me tell you this. Urine, if you use pure urine and you let it set for 1 week, at the end of a week, it is pure ammonia, just like you're talking about kitchen ammonia. It's that powerful. So
don't let it sit.
Don't let it sit. Yeah.
What will help my broccoli grow big heads?
Lots of good fertilizer-rich soil. I mean, that's, you got to fertilize. So many people, and I don't come down on me for saying this, but so many people want to just stick with organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer is not a guaranteed analysis. When you use organic fertilizers, and I use them all the time, so please understand I do use them, but I have an understanding of them. when you use bone meal, blood meal, all this type of stuff, you only get about 8% benefit from it for the first month of the planting. The other, you're only going to get about 40% after that, and that's going to be like 3 to 4 months down the road, and by then your plant has become stunted. And that's why you see us use granulated commercial fertilizer, because it's a guaranteed analysis. The plant doesn't know whether it's organic or not. It's not going to hurt the plant. It's not going to hurt the food. It's just going to make you have more produce faster. And that's something we just have to get in our heads. I use bone meal for my phosphorus, but I understand that it's going to take it 4 months to break down. I put it in the soil months before I ever actually plant my root crops, so that or before my crops ever begin to bloom, because you need phosphorus for root crops and you need it for blooming. So just understand that you have to do, sometimes you have to do organic fertilizers months in advance in order to get the benefits from it.
Yeah, rabbit poop is a really good fertilizer. That's why
rabbit poop is probably the best.
And what was it you put? You planted something. You put rabbit poop down, and then some
I planted the razzmatazz.
Oh yeah, when we were over at the new property, we moved the razzmatazz. It's a grate that Danny had to pay $50 for.
Yeah.
Like to freaked out, but it's still alive. It's still going. It's putting on new leaves, so we hoping it'll do really good over there because that's such rich soil. But he took some of our rabbit poop and he dug a really deep hole, put some of that in there, and put dirt in, and then put the razzmatazz so it would have something to grow. And it's already got leaves on it. It's coming out really good.
Let me check something here. I saw something.
What makes my cabbage stop heading and bolt?
Too much heat. Not enough fertilizer and too much heat. I was going to get 2 baby goats, but I was told goats are mean. Is that true? The only thing that gets mean on a goat, it would be a male, and
if you don't pay him any attention.
If you love on him, he won't be mean. And goats need lots of attention. That's why me and Wanda got rid of the herd that we had. We just didn't have the time to spend with them. They're worse than a dog or a cat. They will not leave you alone. They want to love on you. They want to rub on you. They just want to love you.
And if you don't, they whine and cry the whole time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't handle that. I wanted to go play with them, but I had things to do. And we bought 3 as babies. As they grew and got older, then we bred 2 of them to Kiko's, and then we had 2 babies. So we had 5 goats altogether. 2 mamas, 1 extra that we were fixing to breed. We just didn't when we got rid of them. And they all whined because they wanted to play all day.
Do we use Osmocote? Yes, we use Osmocote. We just did a video with our citrus trees showing using Osmocote time-release fertilizer around the base of our citrus trees.
How long do you compost chicken poop before using it on your garden?
It depends on what I'm using it on. If I'm using it on any kind of leafy vegetables, I like for it to be composted about a year. If I'm going to be using it on corn, lots of times on corn, once it's up about 6 or 8 inches tall, I just put it directly on the ground. I don't even compost it. But if I'm using it on peas and beans and stuff like that, usually about 6 months is what I do.
Not 1 more inch. I agree with you. I think the gardening community does a disservice to new gardeners because they do push for organic gardening concept. Because new gardeners don't understand how to use the organic. They fail and they give up.
They give up.
That is exactly true.
I could not have said it any better myself. That is 100% accurate.
A lot of YouTube channels or whatever push these permaculture methods. They push
and they're great methods, don't get us wrong, because we do permaculture here, but if you do permaculture, you're not going to raise much to eat for at least 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and they push what am I thinking? All kinds of
no-till farming.
Yeah,
back to Eden. They push all this kind of stuff, and it works if you're in the right climates.
And if you understand how to do it.
Yeah, if you understand how to do it, but don't expect immediate results from it because you're not going to get it.
We have one guy that does Back to Eden every year. He has been doing this for several years. He is 100% successful.
Yeah.
But he understands what he's doing and how he's doing it. We tried it. And we did it 2 or 3 years, and it just wasn't working with fire ants and all kinds of issues here. He lives in a little bit different climate, and he puts an effort into it, big time. You don't just go out there and throw this much stuff on the ground and expect to do the back to Eden and it work.
No,
it doesn't work that way.
It will not work.
So you got to know the concepts, and you got to understand. Easiest thing for somebody that's gardening is transfer that dirt and dig it up and fertilize it really good and go for it.
Ivana Askham says, I'm really good at growing weeds. Ivana,
we too.
If you grow tons of weeds, what I suggest you do is look at the weed that's coming up and then look at and see what soil type and what's missing in your soil. Because if you have healthy soil, you don't have a lot of weeds. That's the whole issue. Weeds are the soil's way of putting back certain minerals and nutrients that the soil needs. Like if you've got tons of dandelions growing everywhere, you've got soil that's low in calcium, you've got soil that's compacted. I mean, these are things that you just need to know. If you got tons of sagebrush growing in your place, you got soil that's low in lime, and it needs to be limed, it needs to be subsoiled where moisture can get up and down through the ground. I mean, there's different remedies. I mean, daikon radishes can break up hard soil. There's tons of ways. Just look at the weed that's growing and then check out what that weed puts back into the soil or what it's trying to do for the soil.
All right. Did we gain any land after the survey?
No.
Our survey was pretty good.
Our survey, we gained land on the left-hand side, or shall I say the east side, and we lost a little land on the west side.
It's
just the land was just cocked. One end of it was just cocked to maybe 3 feet. And
yeah, it worked out the same, but it just like the old fences were just a hair off.
Just a hair off. That's all.
The one end.
And the adjoining landowners understood totally.
All right, what do you think about electroculture that David Dubai was talking about?
Oh, we've done electroculture for years and years. David's a real close friend of ours. You can go check out Hills Mill Homestead, Mickey and Kathy. They do electroculture there. There's a guy that's been, he has a bunch of videos out. He has some books out. Jerry Baker.
Yeah.
Jerry Baker back in the 80s was doing electroculture. Electroculture goes all the way back to World War II with Great Britain and all that kind of stuff going on over there. They realized that if they could do electroculture, they could grow twice as much food as they normally do. We do it every year, and you may do it and don't even know it by using metal tomato cages and stuff like that. I mean, electroculture works fantastic.
How can you lower the soil pH from 7 to 6?
Sulfur. If you got to lower the pH, use sulfur to do it with.
Why don't my organic sweet potatoes grow slips? I bought them from a health food store, and I have them in water like you do. And
there's your problem. Linda, never put a sweet potato in water. Lots of people will take a glass or a pint jar or whatever, and they'll stick toothpicks in a sweet potato and stick it down in there. There's nowhere on earth that you find God growing sweet potatoes that way.
Now, will it work?
Now, will it work? It'll grow a few little slips out on it, and then you'll have to pull them off and stick them in some more water and make them root. Go to Walmart or some convenience store, buy you a plastic tote about 6 to 8 inches deep. Put you some soil in the bottom of it, some potting soil, put your sweet potatoes in it, put some dirt over it, and put it in a sunny windowsill, moisten it just a little bit, not much, and when the temperature, make sure it stays 70 degrees or warmer, and you'll have sweet potato slips. As a matter of fact, I have a video coming up showing exactly that procedure and how it works.
Yeah, if I get to editing. Have you ever heard of rattlesnake weeds?
Yes, I've heard of rattlesnake weeds. You walk through them, if it's what we call here in the South rattlesnake weeds, when you walk through them, it sounds like rattlesnake rattlers rattling all the time.
Have we ever tried aquaponics?
I've done some aquaponics, But we have a pond right next to our high tunnels here, and if I need fish water, we call it, I just go out and take
use that.
I'm just going to use that word, okay? I just go out and dip a 5-gallon bucket in the pond and come up and I water my high tunnels with it, and I look at it as I've got my fishy, let's call it fish emulsion. I have my fish emulsion that way.
Milk and Honey says, I got my sweet potatoes started in dirt. First time, wish me luck.
You'll be doing just fine.
Do not water them to start with.
Don't overwater them to start with, or they will rot in the dirt. Make sure you don't.
Yeah. T-Bear says, oh my gosh, I haven't seen a glass with geese like that in a long, long time. See?
This is my glasses. I call them my ducky glasses. We've had these, oh my word, I don't even know how long.
Debbie had those.
Yeah, my wife that passed away had them, and I don't know how long she had them before then. There's no telling.
They could have been her mom's.
They could have been.
That's
Allison just put up a link to me growing sweet potato slips. Matter of fact, Ms. Lippy helped me harvest some of them.
And plant them in the garden.
Let's see. You don't lime soil that is alkaline. Sagebrush grows in alkaline soil. I do not agree with that because my soil is acidic here and I got sagebrush everywhere. I lime it to stop the sagebrush.
Does the new property have a pond?
Yes. It has
in fact, 2.
Matter of fact, it's got 2 of them, and I just had one of them rebuilt into a small lake.
The other one's back in the woods. We did a video.
It's over on Patreon.
It's on Patreon. I don't know on elderberries.
Yeah, we planted elderberries around it.
It's an old pond, and we won't be redoing it.
No, we just leave it the same.
If it holds water, it holds water.
Let's see here. Is this an early spring, Rod said. For us right now, it seems to be. I'm not going to lie about it. I've checked the forecast way on up into March, and I don't see anything colder than 38 degrees for the deep south.
Does lemongrass keep snakes away?
No, because I found a black snake in my garden up there where my lemongrass was, so it doesn't keep them away.
It doesn't deter them.
Somebody said these glasses were from the late 1980s, so I don't know.
That's about right. Can you grow a lemon tree from a store-bought lemon, the seeds?
No, I would not believe that you could. You'll get a citrus tree, but you'll probably get some rootstock that it came from. Can apple trees and peach trees be planted near each other, Amanda? Yes, they can be planted next to each other.
Are you growing your hair back out?
Nope, I just been so busy I hadn't had time to go to a barbershop.
We got a new barbershop in town. I'm gonna make you.
Wanda's trying to make me go to this new barbershop we have in town here. It's called
Brick Street.
Well, it's Brick Street, but it's a gentleman's.
It's a gentleman's.
What do they call it?
Gentleman's club.
Yeah, it's a gentleman's club. Yeah, and they said
it's a Brick Street barber. Yeah,
it's a barber. It's made like it was back in the the 50s or 40s or something like that. Yeah. And
it's all set up inside, kind of like the old-fashioned barber shops. And I'm trying to talk him into it, which we just hadn't had time. I just got to make an appointment. I got to make me an appointment. So we'll do a hair day one day, and I'll do some videoing in the new barber shop.
Yeah.
They wouldn't care. Actually, the owners of Jack's Plant and Patio and Jack's Home Improvement own the new barber shop. So they're the ones that are doing it. Let's see. How can I keep guineas quiet?
Kill them? Well, I mean, do you know any other way?
Nope. I'm just...
They're the best watchdog you'll ever have.
But they're noisy.
They are noisy.
We have a neighbor that has them.
Yep.
And Danny and I thought about it.
We was going to get some, but we was like, well, I don't know. We'll see.
And the neighbor has some, and they're really noisy. Even from a distance, I can still hear them. So I wouldn't mind having them like on the 40 acres. As long as they stayed on the other side of the 40 acres. I don't know that I want them right around the house.
What Elvin says, what's a safe date to put your seedlings outside? Well, that's going to depend on where you live at. I mean, I would say for us here in the deep south, our seedlings are already out. But matter of fact, we planted snap beans today.
Yes. Video coming sometime.
Yeah.
If Danny ever lets me sit down long enough to edit, I'm just like...
We got tons of stuff, guys. We're planting and doing this and doing that.
I've got videos stuck everywhere, and I can't get them made. And then yesterday, my daughter and her kids came, and my mom. She brought my mom, and we visited all day. And then today, Renata come by, and I didn't pay any...
She was blaming it on me, but it ain't all me. It's her mama, her daughter, her friends, and... It ain't me.
No, I pick at him all the time. But still, I need to be cooking and doing laundry and all this stuff, and I'm visiting.
Yeah.
That's basically it. But I've been helping him a lot. We've been overdoing a lot.
We have been doing a lot of the property.
So,
yeah. By the time we travel to the property and travel back and do this and do
all
that,
kinds of stuff and cook and clean and
there just ain't much time.
So I've got to edit. Tomorrow's going to be an editing day. Just saying. What's the best way to get rid of gophers?
Shoot them.
Best tips for growing.
Somebody's gonna say, is that your answer for everything?
Look, best tips for growing melons and watermelons and cantaloupes and honeydew. Not shoot them.
The best tips for growing them?
Yeah.
New ground. Don't overdo the ammonia on them, because if you do, you'll end up with a stomach ache.
Get sleepy.
So, just good fertilization up front. Make sure they get plenty of water. That's the main thing.
Any tips for getting rid of fire ants without killing off your plants?
Well,
we discussed this earlier.
About using gasoline and how I've done it, and I haven't had any side effects from it yet. So.
But now I wouldn't put it right up next to my plants. You usually are away from it somewhat.
I'm usually a foot away from them. I go a foot.
Yeah.
Because fire ants, when they go underground, they go a long way underground.
And so I think if you use gasoline, be cautious.
Yeah, just be cautious. Yeah.
Joan asked it, could you pray for her friend's son?
We can pray for him, yeah.
Are y'all going to build a cabin on the new place?
We have actually talked about that, but with the price of everything right now, it's kind of expensive right now to do anything. So I'm just like, I don't know if that'll actually happen anytime soon. Let me put it that way. Matter of fact, when I built this cabin over here, I said that was my last hoorah, didn't I?
Yeah, you pretty much did.
And I'm getting to the age now where I don't know if I don't know
if we have it in us.
Well, I could probably got it in me, but I don't know if I should be up on ladders and all that stuff anymore. Poppy C says, Danny, I'm disappointed. I was hoping to hear you say, shoot him about the fire ant.
It's only because he didn't think about it.
Well.
Where do you look up a long-range weather forecast?
If I tell you that, I'll have to get rid of you. No.
Tell them where they can find it.
If you want a pretty decent long-range forecast, now this is not where I get all my information from, but it's one of the better ones. I'm going to tell you this. It's Weatherman Plus. Mark does a fantastic job of the weather and giving you the long-range forecast is for like a month at a time, or 2 weeks at a time. But he'll tell you when he does it that things are subject to change, which they are. But I do use other sources that I'm not going to go into. But Mark and I have a pretty good understanding. We communicate back and forth with each other occasionally.
Yeah, he's probably one of the better.
Mark would be one of the better ones
to watch for long range, because he explains every section of the country and long range.
Nan Farm says, tip for tonight, shoot him.
That's probably going to come out of his mouth.
That's probably it. Might come out of my mouth.
Let's see.
What herbs or plants go best with tomatoes to boost productivity? Well, you could probably try basil. You could try carrots. Carrots give off let's just say, there's a book out there, Carrots Love Tomatoes. I'll let you go read it.
Shoot 'em should be a T-shirt.
It should be, yeah. then they'd think I was swamp. I'd be a swamp man. But you know, I think that would be sufficient.
All right.
And people saying Mark at Weatherman Plus is great. Mark is really good, guys. Mark is really, really good.
Yeah, he really keeps you up to date, and
he's always got giveaways. He's giving away power stations. He's giving away weather stations. I mean, I watch him every day except Saturday. He doesn't do any videos on Saturday because that's his Sabbath, and I respect that. And he usually has a Bible reading lots of times after he does his weather thing. So yeah, Mark is probably one of the better ones that I would think.
All right, so we want to do prayer request, and the 5 people that won seeds, get in touch with me at deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com. I done seen 2 or 3 of them have said they've sent
Oh,
emails.
man.
So I'll try to get all those out next week. What we got going on that I don't even remember. There goes our thing.
There goes that monitor again.
You got to put that camera down.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to look this time. You just keep them busy for a minute.
There's your thing. We got a drone in. Danny and I have never owned a drone, and a company asked if we want a beginner's drone. And I said, well, sure. The new property, we thought, we'll go over there and we'll play around with the drone, see what it looks like. And I got to do a video shortly, so y'all going to probably get a laugh out of that one. We haven't done more than take it out of the box in a week. Found out that you have to go to the FAA and register your drone. I did not know that, so I had to go to the FAA and register the drone. Then I'm supposed to take a safety test, and so I've got to do that. All to fly a drone, y'all. I'm just saying. And then you got to have internet. And I don't think they understand that we don't have phone service really well out here, because I told them I did not really have phone service. I didn't have internet at the new property. And they said, that's okay. You don't need internet. You just hook it to your phone and it works. And I'm like, you don't understand. My phone don't work either over there. So we're in a dilemma now with the drone, how to make it work in order to even test it. With our internet here, I think Danny and we have so many trees and so much stuff till just learning to do a drone is going to be difficult on this property.
We have to go to the other property to do it.
And we don't, without the internet over there or cell phone service.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to make that happen. So we're playing around. So in the future, y'all going to see us hopefully learn how to do the drone if we can make it happen.
Oh, I can fly it. I mean, I flew an F-16.
But I mean, we need the service. Is what I'm saying.
we gotta have the service. Yeah.
We've got to try and figure that out. And
yeah.
Then we got the other thing that we'll do a review on sometime in the next week or two is a different type of water purifier. We were really interested in adding an extra type here because of all the water situations.
I'm going to answer this one.
Okay.
Prepping for Homestead Eternity, Mr. Donnie. Did you think we'll have to move into a house church scenario in the future because of persecution? Donnie, yes. I'm just going to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, I believe you will probably have to end up going underground, having private services in people's houses, totally undetected, and just visit from house to house, and like the first church called The Way was. I mean, literally they just went from house to house, and believe it or not, they had church every day. They didn't have church just on Sundays or Wednesdays. They had services every day, and they met continually, and they prayed continually. That's why they had so much power. People nowadays use the church as a rabbit's foot, so to speak. You know, they feel like it's like a social club or a social gathering. If they've been seen, and people know that they've been seen, especially people like politicians and stuff like this, when they start politicking, the first thing they tell them is go become the member of a good, strong church in your community. You know, and there's nothing to this. You know, I mean, so many people. Yeah, and Donnie, yes. Churches are going to, I'm going to mess around and say something I ain't got no business saying, so I got to stop.
They're saying the drone, if it's under 250 grams, I don't have to go through all the hoops. I don't have a clue what it weighs. I just know that the instructions said I had to do all this in order to have it. Danny flew an F-16
simulator.
Not
the actual plane. I would not fly with me on one of them, but I flew one and did not crash it.
But I wouldn't fly with him either.
No, I wouldn't fly with me.
No. You don't want to fly with him. I guess if you were in a F-16 and the pilot died and Danny was the only person to fly it, then yes, you'd have to. But that's a have to.
First of all, I wouldn't be sitting in the cockpit with one of them anyway.
No, he's not going to do it.
After flying that, when I flew that simulator,
he said, that ain't for him.
No. I'm
Not
not doing this ever again.
Okay, so we need to pray, and then we will give your tip, if you remember what it is.
Make sure I ain't gonna...
Double A says he has FPV racing and freestyle drones. It's my hobby. I also have a photography drone. We need you at Deep South.
Yeah.
Just saying. We need you down here because I don't have a clue. I've never played with a drone. Danny has been around them a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he understands the whole setup. But this one, the guy said it was a beginner drone, and then he turned around and says, "Oh wait, I'm going to send you the next upgraded." So I don't have a clue what it is, and I don't know anything about it, and we're gonna learn.
I'm very mechanically inclined, so I mean, I don't think it'll take me long. But
no, you're going to be doing it, but I just need to figure out.
I'll put it to you this way: I used to drag race.
I like your stories.
Yeah, they love my stories. I was a drag racer for years, and until I really got bored with drag racing, until we started doing it in reverse. When we started drag racing, he can
drive backwards at 60 miles per hour. Believe me, because I have been in the vehicle with him.
Yeah.
Scared the crap out of
me. And I don't even look backwards either. I use mirrors.
Yeah, he's doing this.
I can drive backwards just as fast as I can drive forward. And Wanda's over here freaking out, going, "Oh my God, we're gonna die!" You know what I told her? I says, "Nope." I slam on brakes and slide the vehicle around until we're front ends facing in the other direction and take off. Oh man.
Yeah, I want to be scared being in the vehicle with him driving backwards.
Yep.
I just do this.
She puts her head back against it, so if she prepares for an impact, which has never happened. But,
no.
I mean,
he's actually a very good driver.
Yeah.
And get in the Ranger with him. His Ranger?
Oh, my Ranger?
Way. No.
No. My Ranger will go from 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds. Yeah.
I like the putt-putts.
Wanda puts around. Her top speed on hers is 20 miles an hour.
That's fine.
And that's all it'll do. Wide open, that's all it'll do.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
All right, so.
Okay. Wanda's punching me here to have our prayer, so I guess we need to pray. Oh, Lord. Father, we thank you for a good night. Thank you for fellowship. Thank you for love. Father, thank you for all the wonderful things in life that you grant to us that makes life joyful. And I know tonight we've had several people mentioning that they've got some physical issues, Lord. And Father, I'm just going to pray for some good old-fashioned healing for their bodies tonight. And you're the great physician anyway, Father. You created us. You said we're fearfully and wonderfully made through the psalmist David. And I believe that. I don't believe anything can touch us that you don't want to touch us. So nothing can have power over us as long as we belong to you without your permission. So, Father, whatever's going on in the lives of the people that need prayer tonight, help them to exercise the faith that they need to be able to overcome it, Father. Give them strength, give them power, give them peace, grant them grace. Give them all these things that they need, Father. And Lord, for those that have, people don't even have to say this one, but there's people here tonight that have financial issues, because I know for a fact the world that we're going into, there's people with financial issues, Lord, and I'm asking that you stretch the dollar for them. Put deals in front of them that they cannot refuse. Lord, deals that they've been looking for months and months on food, clothing, shelter, whatever it is that they're looking for, automobiles, fuel, whatever, Father, gardening supplies, whatever they need for their life to be more sustainable. Put those deals in their path and then give them the finances to be able to afford it, Lord. There's people here who need high tunnels to grow in. There's people that need greenhouses. There's people that need hoop houses, raised beds. Lord, there's people that need all these things. I'm asking that you grant them all these things so that they can keep their food production up, because we all know the old wicked one is trying to cut it out. And Father, give us peace, give us grace, give us love. Help us to not choose sides, Father, as we move into the new era that we're moving into, and not get caught up and have our attention on one individual only, Lord, but realize that they're really all wicked, and to keep our eyes on you and to judge everything according to you rather than man. So, Father, be with us, love us, give us all good night's rest. Help us to rise up tomorrow to do your will for our lives. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Oh, we want to pray for the people in East Palestine, Ohio.
Yes, we actually checked on that again this evening. They've actually had a dam broke up there today. Now, and is spilling toxic water into everything.
So if you live downstream of that, where any tributaries coming into your tributary, you might want to check on that.
You might want to check on that. You might want to have your water tested. I mean, I'm just being serious, you know.
That I think they got a lot of rain and it broke the dam. I'm not sure of that yet. I'm not 100%, but that's what it looked like. Something happened.
And you have to wonder, they had flooding rains up there.
That's what I'm saying.
The floods.
That storm went through.
Yeah.
And so that storm did a lot of damage. Not only just Ohio, but that is a massive problem. But I saw Miss Lippy had said, I believe it was Shreveport, Louisiana, had some damage. And then as it moved across, there were several states several spots in each state had damage.
Yeah.
Even Mississippi, I think, had some people without power and things like that. I think they've gotten them all back on in the lower part. I'm not sure about up high.
Yeah, what gets me is they talk about, well, there's a sweet smelling smell, and guys, propylene glycol has a very sweet smell. And it goes to the bottom of water when you put it in water. I mean, it is horrifying to know that they're more than likely they've got antifreeze and all that water up there, which causes renal failure.
There was another train derailment in Ohio near Springfield, near Dayton.
I saw that.
So you got a tip?
Do we have a tip tonight?
Shoot 'em.
Shoot 'em, Elizabeth, shoot 'em. I don't even know where that came from. I was watching Swamp People with my mama one time. I have a photographic memory and stuff like that just comes back to me.
It just pops up at the worst
times, yeah.
We had no weather here, so we didn't have anything. It was all up above us. We had wind. The wind was tough. About 40 miles per hour.
We had about 40 miles per hour right here, yeah.
Yes, his right eye is okay. It's bloodshot.
I've been up under a tractor all evening, dust and dirt and everything falling in my eye. Plus, that eye is kind of messed up anyway, so.
That's the one that's been bothering me.
It's called getting old and having problems and just learning to live with it, you know. Well, the tip for tonight, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, don't drip the water.
Let me talk about this. Okay. Our high tunnels did fine with the heavy winds. We've had up to 100 miles per hour winds or a little over. And this is the third year?
Third year, yeah.
We've not had any problems. So ours have handled at least 100 mile per hour winds. At least twice.
Twice we've had 100 mile an hour winds.
And haven't had any problems. Not to say we won't next time, but we haven't. We've not had any of them torn. I think you had one limb go through the third high tunnel.
Little tiny stick stuck in the plastic of one of them, and I had to go up and fix it.
But the other
and when you order your high tunnels, make sure you order the plastic tape to patch them with.
You want a patch tape.
Make sure I don't know how long that roll is, but
we haven't had to use it, but one time on that one.
One time we've used it on that one.
The two that have the shade cloth on them, we've not had any issues, But somebody was just asking how they done. Sarah says dioxins destroy DNA. Let me tell you something, Sarah. I spent about 10,000 hours of research into cancer. 90%
89% of breast cancer in America today, according to the oncologist that I was working with, is caused by dioxins from microwaves, using plastic in microwaves, eating out of plastic utensils, using plastic forks, plastic spoons, plastic cups, all this kind of stuff, putting hot liquids in them, cold liquids in them. It leaches the dioxin out. Drinking bottled water that's been sitting out in the heat, different things like that, is leaching dioxins into the body, which is causing most women to have breast cancer, and men too.
Yeah, they're asking, is it hard to patch? No, it's just like if
No,
you've got
it's real easy.
a little, as long as it's not a big tear.
Well, you can actually do a pretty good tear too. I mean, because I fixed one in that little high tunnel, a big tear, about 6 inches long.
Oh yeah, the little bitty one
yeah.
that we've got. That one did get a tear in it, but that's the little small sprouting shed. Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Okay, tip.
Tip. Okay. The tip of the night is to expect the unexpected. Because going into the very near future, I want to just tell you up front to go ahead and expect the unexpected. The things that you don't think will happen. There's things that's going to take place. YouTube will not permit me to say certain things because they've already pulled my videos. But expect the unexpected. One would be water issues. And y'all know I've all told you that there's going to be fires, more this year than has been. And they're trying to figure out how to say this and not get us in trouble. With what's going on in outer space, there are magnetic excursions taking place in outer space. I'm trying to choose the right words here. These magnetic fields, let's just say magnetic fields, let's call them that, which is not actually magnetic fields, but I'm going to have to call them magnetic fields. These magnetic fields will cause certain chemicals to react and ignite themselves. And that's why y'all have heard me say for months now that this is going to be the year of fire, because there's going to be lots of plants that have chemicals in them that's going to just ignite because of what's going on in the solar field, throwing in these plasma rays, or whatever you want to call them, gamma rays, radiation, stuff to this nature, is going to ignite chemicals in a lot of these places, and they're going to set themselves on fire, and they're going to go around blaming it on everything in the world when it was nothing more than what's taking place in outer space that's affecting the Earth here. Now, we're having tremendous amounts of radiation coming into the Earth right now. One of the biggest things that they're experiencing radiation in is planes, people flying in planes, pilots and stuff like this are having high exposures to radiation that they normally don't have. There's radiation coming out of the soil. The gamma rays coming out of the soil right now is affecting plant growth. Y'all have heard me talk about in the past how that it's affecting the root structures of plants, and the USDA is actually doing research on techniques, genetically modified seeds to deal with the gamma rays, to deal with drought, to deal with floods and stuff like this. They're trying to genetically modify seeds to deal with all this stuff because they know it's coming. So expect the unexpected. It's not going to always be good, guys. Don't let something take you off guard. The way most people fail, and I learned this in the martial arts, the way most people fail is through the element of surprise. That's how someone who is an attacker or something other like that, or if you're involved in the martial arts, they teach you to do things that people don't expect. And that gives you the upper edge on a person. So that's why you want to always expect the unexpected. That's one of the things they teach you in the training, is expect things that you normally wouldn't expect. That way you're not caught off guard. Because if you're caught off guard, 99% of the time you'll make a poor decision. Because you'll make a fast decision. You don't make decisions based on what happens. You make decisions based on facts, and you predetermine ahead of time what you're going to do if you come into a specific scenario. So that's to expect the unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Somebody want to know, did we butcher our own cattle? We have not. I
have butchered my own calves in the past,
but we haven't lately. We did do some of our own pigs.
Yeah, we've
turkeys,
done our pigs.
Chickens.
We've done all that before.
Rabbits. We do everything. But since we've had cows, he and I have not. He has in the past. We had. Well,
we have a friend that owns a slaughterhouse real close to us, and she's always told us if we needed something butchered, just bring it over. Don't worry about it. Just
the cows are a little big. We can do it. We have all the equipment. We have everything.
Everything to do it with.
And if something happens and we can't get them to her, we will. We have everything set up to do.
Everything's set up to do it here. Will the water issues be Florida? The water issues will be anywhere there's a coastline.
Yeah.
East Texas is supposed to be one of the hardest hit. Florida is another one. It's supposed to be pretty hard hit. California, the East Coast. You know, there's
any place that has a coastline. Even Mississippi.
Even Mississippi. Now, Mississippi wasn't mentioned, but we're never mentioned anything. We're always the landmass between Louisiana and Alabama. You know.
Well, they didn't mention them either. So
well, no, they didn't really mention them.
They mentioned Florida and they mentioned Texas.
And they did mention those two.
So we're in the middle.
Yeah.
So if you got two on each side and there's a gulf there, it would kind of make you think that we're going to get something.
Yeah.
But we're okay with that.
Yeah.
This is where we live and this is how we do it.
This is where we're at. I mean, it is what it is, and we're not going nowhere unless God tells us to.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like that He's going to protect us, and if He don't, we get to go see Him.
We get to go see Him. We get to go home.
Yeah.
That's the way we look at it.
What is water issue code for?
Actually, the water coming up rising.
Rising water. Let me put it to you that way. Rising water.
Walking outside and all of a sudden you got water on your
Let me put it to you this way. There is a land mass out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean off the East Coast that is rising. They don't know how long it'll take to come to the surface of the ocean, but it is actually rising out there. And when it rises up, that water's got to go somewhere.
And then you've got
the Antarctic.
Ice melt.
You got the ice melt at the Antarctic because we have volcanoes underneath the ice melting them. We have magnetic fields coming into both poles on both ends of the Earth, heating up both poles, causing the ice to melt because of the shields that's down around the Earth because of the solar cycle that we're in. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
They're saying, is it global warming? No.
No, there's no such thing as global warming, people. Get that out of your head. This is all solar related.
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with just if or when, sometimes most of them say when.
Yeah.
An ice mass breaks off and falls into the water, okay, you drop an ice cube in a glass, the water goes. It has to go somewhere.
Well, let's put it this way. Ice that's already under the ocean
is not a problem.
It's not going to be a problem. But when you have ice that's thousands of feet high and big pieces of it break off and fall into the ocean, the water level has to come up.
It's like a big splash. It's got to go somewhere.
It's got to come up.
And then it goes back, but it has to happen. If you get what I'm saying, like you drop an ice cube, the water has to go. So that's
Sheila says, going to have beachfront property then. And we and Wanda always joke about that.
We joke about that, and it may not be a joke.
Well, it may not be a joke, but Wanda's always said, I love beachfront property. I told her, I said, just hang around. If we're married long enough and the world stands long enough, you're going to get to have it. You know?
So, it's one of those things.
Chris DeCarlo says, all of California will be affected, Danny. Chris, California is a poster child for sin in America. I've had a conversation with a friend of mine that lives out there in California. I've been trying to tell him to get out, please. I've told him, I said, you're going to experience flooding. You're going to experience fires. You're going to experience earthquakes. I mean, there's all this stuff is coming to California, And it's all been happening. High winds. I told them, all this is coming.
They're getting snow. Some of them get snow.
Now they're getting snow.
That's crazy.
I told them, I said, how much more is it going to take for you to realize God's going to destroy that place? You know? And I don't know.
Well, it's just like us.
It's just like us. People tell us to move from here, but I tell them not till God tells me to, you know?
Yeah, and he hasn't told us to.
And he hasn't told us to move.
God hasn't told him to move.
I don't guess he has. I don't know.
He's thought about it quite a few times, but he says, you know, he feels like his mission is there in California, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
We have friends in Florida. They feel like their mission is in Florida, and so they're not moving. And we feel like we are where we are for a reason. Danny and I've tried to move several times.
We have.
We've thought about it. We've, he's over the past 30 years has tried to move off several
times I've tried to move away. Yeah.
Things just
God never permitted it.
Yeah.
He never permitted it. You know,
we feel like if he wanted us somewhere else, he would put us somewhere else. He would say, "Look, this is what you need to be doing," and it hasn't happened.
I can tell you, there's certain things that nobody gets allowed to talk about. The whole east side of Texas is in danger. I'll tell you that. West Louisiana is in danger. The whole state, both of them. But you're not going to hear anybody talking about that.
Well, they don't want to scare people.
Because they know it'll scare people to death. And we don't want to scare people.
But people want to be informed.
Well, I tell Wanda all the time, what good's it going to do me to say anything? Because you can't change anything.
We talked about that today, about changing things. If it comes into Mississippi, we can't change hurricanes. We can't change earthquakes if they happen.
Nope.
We can't change hot weather. We can't change cold weather. Those things happen. So why are you going to stress out? Why are you going to make yourself sick? Just be prepared in case something happens and you come out on the other side, you still got to have food and water and shelter.
Yep.
And if you can provide that, then all else you start over, you do what you got to do. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and the question's been asked, what about river flooding and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Anytime water comes inland, all rivers flow south, with the exception, I think, of one. And anytime, it's kind of like the Mississippi River when we had the earthquake back in the 1800s, and it stopped the Mississippi River still in its tracks and the water started flowing backwards. Technically, the water didn't flow backwards. What happened was the water started backing up because it couldn't flow southward. and that's usually what will happen. If the ocean begins to rise and the water from the rivers can't get back into the ocean, then all the tributaries begin to back up. It's not that the water's running backwards, it's that they begin to back up, and when they do, it causes massive flooding anywhere, on any rivers or stuff. I told Wanda today, we were talking, I said, I used to think I wanted property with a creek on it. But now, with all the chemical issues that's going on and all the problems with water tributaries and stuff like that, I told her, I said, I'm really glad that we didn't settle with a piece of property near a creek or a river or something, because we did look at lots of places like that.
Had a creek and stuff on them.
And now we're just really glad that we didn't. So anyway, that's just where we're at on it.
Yes, the giveaway was over the first maybe 30 minutes. The words we picked, people used those in the chat within the first 30 minutes, and we announced the winners. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Why are you killing all that off?
Because where'd it go?
You are going backwards with everything. Put this back up right here. You got to stop that first. Okay. Guys, she's messing with everything here.
I had to take the big chat off, and then when I did, I bumped something to take OBS off.
Yeah, continental divide, the water flows up. That's right, Donna.
Okay.
Lots of people. Some people know the truth. But anyway, guys, we got to jump off of here. I have busted my tail all day. I got to go back in here and start figuring out how I'm going to fix my cultivator and planter system and all. I got to look up some alternatives, some solutions. I told y'all it's going to be a year of challenges, so we're going to say we're looking for solutions this year. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're looking for solutions. Thank you, guys.